Hey, what's up guys? In today's short video, I'm going to be revisiting my SMALLRIG cage and kind of pit it against my brand new 8-sin cage and tell you why I'm probably going to send that cage back. So let's jump in. So a few months back, I had built what I considered the ultimate run and gun cage build with an external microphone, two wireless lav receivers, the H5, the Zoom H5, all built into one cage. And you know, it's very subjective when you're building a cage. What I want to do is obviously not how you want to build it. So we all look to SMALLRIG because SMALLRIG has a million little parts and doodads and gadgets to build your rig the way you want. I think SMALLRIG has captured the hearts of any rig builder. And I enjoyed it, and it's evolved over the last few months. I've shrunk it down, I've taken it apart, I've ordered some other parts to make it a little more streamlined. Instead of so big like that video that I made about the ultimate run and gun. I'll post a link right here if you haven't seen it. It's quite an elaborate menage of parts. And I did get to use it once as it was in that video, but I have since shrunk it way down. You know, we look to cages for a few reasons. My heaviest reason to have a cage surrounding my investment is for that reason, is to protect my investment. You know, if you're out in the woods filming or you're in the streets, you're running and gunning, you drop your camera and it's all over. And so I would think that a cage for me would protect it. Obviously, it has other reasons, ergonomics, getting down really low, using this top handle, bolting it to a shoulder rig. Just many reasons. I could keep going on and on for the reasons that you or I would want to have a cage surrounding our camera. And the most reason is for accessorizing. You have all these ports, you have all these places that you can put things. Anyway, so I have a Z6 and a Z7, and I had a situation where I probably should have had a cage on both cameras. It would have been nice to have a cage on both cameras. But I only had the one cage. So somebody had left a comment in that video, my ultimate run and gun cage build up, that said that I needed to give 8-sin a try. 8-sin, I believe, is, well, the European country. I don't know if they're German country or if they're in Germany or not. But after looking at them and pictures and watching a few other reviews, in German, which I couldn't really understand what they were saying. But I got the gist that it was pretty high quality, and the machining looked a little bit smoother and better from the pictures that I saw versus the SMALLRIG had looked to have more sharper edges. So against my better judgment, I spent an extra $130 or $150 more on the 8-sin cage versus the SMALLRIG cage. The SMALLRIG cage comes in at, for the Nikon Z6 and Z7 anyways, comes in at $89 for the cage. Then there's a clamp that you can buy to hold your HDMI cables. That's $39, or I'll put links in the description to everything. And then the top handle, they make 4 or 5, 8, 6 different top handles. And I chose this one because it's a one-piece unit, and I thought that'd be a little more stable. For the 8-sin cage for the Nikon Z6 and Z7, the cage itself is $169. I'll have to look again. I'll put the links to everything. The cage itself is $169, or maybe it was $189, and then the handle was. The total package for the handle and the cage was $369. So basically, realistically, it's $150. It's double the price of the SMALLRIG. But as soon as I got it and opened it, in all fairness to 8sin, it's a piece of artwork. The machining is so smooth. The corners are so much more rounded and not sharp like they are on the SMALLRIG Cage. So to put it in their favor for the pricing and the machining quality is a total difference. Also, the anodizing has more of a, I don't know, a matte finish to it. And I kind of like that over the little bit more shiny sheen that the SMALLRIG has. So, and then a few options on the handle that I liked better, which I'll have to zoom in here, versus this handle, which has 2 cold shoe mounts in the front, one vertical, one horizontal on the 8sin, and this one only has the one at the top. One cool thing about the SMALLRIG top handle, the one I purchased anyways, is it has a lock. So you can actually lock your hot shoe in place. So when you have your Atomos or whatever recorder or screen you have on top, you're not worried about it falling out. This, you know, your screw that holds the screen in place. You're not worried about that, the cold shoe falling out on this one. Whereas in this one, I'm a little skeptical that this could fall out. So as you heard in the beginning, I said I might be returning this one. And it's not because of the price. Because again, you know, the machining, the quality, I see where the price is coming from. It's a totally different out-of-the-box element. There's 3 reasons why I'm going to return this. And I told you the main reason why I bought cages to begin with. It makes me feel a little more secure. My investment is surrounded by a metal cage. Yes, it's for accessorizing as well, but for me, it's the added protection if it were to be dropped or bumped or God knows whatever, fall down a hill, that it hopefully would be a little more protected. So as far as the 8sin goes, that fits the bill. The machining quality, that fits the bill. The extra $150, is it worth the extra $150 to most people? Probably not. But here's 3 reasons why it's definitely not worth the extra $150. Reason number 1, and one of the most important reasons, on the SMALLRIG Cage, where your hand holds the handle for the camera, on the Z6 and the Z7, that's where your card is. And when you flip open the card to get the card out, it opens almost all the way. It's just a hair shy from opening exactly all the way like it would without the cage on there. On the 8sin, big fail there, guys. It opens partially. It's hitting the metal that surrounds the grip, which, by the way, this metal is beautifully smooth, more so than it is on the SMALLRIG. But unfortunately, they didn't mill it. They didn't calculate far enough to open this. And that hits and doesn't open up all the way. And with my big fingers, trying to get this card out is absolutely impossible. So that's the first reason why. Reason number 2, if we go to the opposite side of the camera, SMALLRIG for $30 offers you a clamp for your HDMI cables and possibly your microphone cable. More importantly to me, the HDMI cable. The HDMI cable, if you just leave it dangling and you hit your body or the stalk of a tree or a branch, it's really going to rip your HDMI cable out and possibly damage the plug, the female part for where you plug your HDMI cable in. So I really appreciate that there's a nice clamp here that bolts to the side of this cage and allows me to clamp down on my HDMI cable for security and sturdiness. Where on the, and I'll zoom in here, on the the 8sin, God, I'm getting too old, you gotta remember all these damn names. On the 8sin, all they give you is this metal bar. And I don't know if they're wanting you to just zip tie. Is that what that metal bar is for you to just zip tie this cable, this HDMI cable down here? I'm not sure what that metal bar is for. And of course, there's no explanation on their website. And as far as I've looked, and I've looked and looked and looked on their website to see if they had some type of HDMI clamp. Now they make a cage for the Canons, and in the pictures you can see that that cage comes with a HDMI clamp on that cage. But on this one, it doesn't, and I don't know if they rushed it to production so they could be, you know, first in line or on the board for selling for the Z6 and Z7, but just astonishing that they wouldn't have thought to have a few screw holes here and add a small clamp, or maybe you had to purchase extra a small clamp, but I don't see one on their website, so I'm assuming there's not. I've contacted them. That's the other thing. I've tried to contact them through email, through their support page, and I'm not hearing back from them. So then my third and final reason is this cold shoe mount up top. Most handles, all handles have a cold shoe mount, but this one does not lock at all. So if I ever didn't tighten down my Atomos or whatever I'm going to put in that cold shoe, if I didn't tighten it down all the way and tilt it down, or was running and gunning, it could just slip right out, loosen and slip right out. But on the SMALLRIG top handle, at least the one that I bought, and again, I'll put the link in the description, there's this locking mechanism with this handle, this little spring-loaded lock that really just, I mean, it's the little things that get you, right? It's the little things that work for me. And boom, it's locked. I'm not worried. I don't even have it tightened down. I've got it all the way loose. And I'm shaking and dangling because there's this little spring-loaded thing right here that just locks it in place. So, and that's usually where most people are going to put their monitors, in the center, dead center. Some people put them off to the side, and that's fine. It's, again, all this is subjective to how you build your cage. Some people even just think cages are dumb, and they would never run a cage, okay? But they have their practical applications there, for me anyways. And security and protection of my investments is one of them. I even have a cage that goes around my Atomos. So really the double the price of the 8-sin cage, and those three things that it's missing are why I'm sending it back. So this was supposed to be a short video. You know how I get long-winded. I apologize for that. I hope you got something out of this video. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe and hit the bell button for future videos. Hit the like button, and we'll see you next week.